Senator Jon Kyl of Arizona joins us on the Common Sense Club and the Scott Anderson Show. How are you, Senator?
I'm doing great, Scott. Thanks for having me on, and appreciate talking to you and your listeners.
So what's, first of all, your reaction to the selection of Governor Romney of Paul Ryan for his running mate?
Well, first of all, I'm biased, obviously. I think the world of Paul. I've worked with him a lot in Congress. I've seen him on the stump. I've seen him handle audiences with the ideas that he articulates so well, and so I am totally convinced that this is a very, very good pick. He will be able to defend the Romney agenda, and I think do so in a way that will be very appealing to people. Obviously, the first thing is he able to take over as commander-in-chief if something were to go wrong? And because of his experience in Washington, even though he's a young guy, I think he's clearly got that qualification. And then you combine that with his ideas, and not just ideas, but his ability to get them enacted. He's been very successful as a member of the House of Representatives, and I think you've got a really great candidate in Paul Ryan.
You know, his roadmap for America, his boldness on this has been pretty legendary. Although I was mentioning to our listeners, I forget the number, I'm going to find it, but a very low number of candidates in 2010 actually said, hey, I'm for the Ryan plan and put it forward, even though Ryan put it out there. Mostly because they saw it as politically a target. You know, I think it was less a judgment on whether or not the plan was the right one, but more just about how difficult it is to defend in your typical political environment. What does that say? You know, and obviously that was 2 years ago. We're now into 2012. Maybe we're ready for this now. But, you know, I mean, what does it say about folks hand-wringing over the political fortunes of having to defend a bold budget like that?
Yeah, I think you've got it just about right. Last two times we voted on it, I think all of the members of the House of Representatives supported it, the Republican members, and there were some Democrats that did as well. Every one of us, I think, in the U.S. Senate on the Republican side supported it. So for 2 years running, he's had a very strong support among his colleagues on the Republican side. But you're right, the first time he put it out there, you know, a lot of the political people follow the usual maxim, don't stick your chin out, you know, don't pick fights if you don't have to. And so I think there was a certain reticence. Now I think people realize this election is all about economic ideas. Are you going to go down the road that has taken many in Europe to the brink of bankruptcy? And you're going to keep spending money the way that President Obama has done and wants to continue to do, and have the government be more and more powerful in our lives? Or do you want to go with the alternative, which has worked for us in the past, which is to give the entrepreneurial spirit of the American people free reign, not free reign, but an adequate opportunity, let's put it that way, so that you're not overburdened with regulations and taxation, and that they can be the creative engine of progress that we have been for so many years. That's the choice, and I think that Paul Ryan and his views on this will actually help Governor Romney articulate that on the campaign stump. On the stump during the campaign, and as a result, it'll actually join the issue in a way that wouldn't have otherwise happened.
You know, there was an famous ad that the Democrats or some group put out shortly after the Ryan budget that had, someone that looked like Paul Ryan pushing a grandmotherly-like figure in a wheelchair off a cliff. Yeah. Obviously there was a time when that worked. Do you think that works anymore? Are we ready? I mean, what I've been saying on the air today is, look, if we're not ready in this country now for a big conversation about, the future and our debt and our deficit and getting the economy going, and that those scare tactics like the wheelchair grandmother over the cliff work, then America, as we know it, will cease to exist. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely, and you put it very, very well. I mean, you broke the code. And I think, John McCain, my colleague from Arizona, used to talk about his straight talk. And maybe it was a little soon for some of that straight talk, but I think now people get it. And the first thing to remind everybody, shouldn't have to remind, but a lot of people are busy working and they're not into the weeds on this stuff like you are and like I am. First of all, the Ryan budget doesn't do anything for people on Social Security. In fact, if you're 55 years of age or older, nothing changes. So to say we're rolling Granny over the cliff is a lie about what he proposes. And then how about for people 55 and younger? Well, they have a choice. They could keep the Medicare program just like it is today, You don't have to change a thing. Or if you want to take advantage of his premium support program, you can do that. You can decide which way you want to do it. So it's a choice, and I think people will not be afraid of that choice once they understand it, and once they appreciate that if we don't do some reform, starting with people who are 55 age or younger, the program isn't going to be there for you anyway. So you might as well try to do some innovation to make sure that the promises that we've made to the seniors about Medicare can be kept. We made some changes on Social Security so that it will continue to be there for people, although that won't last forever either. But we've got to make those same kind of changes now to Medicare to at least give people the opportunity to participate in a program that's a little bit different than the way it is right now, or there won't be any program for people 55 or younger.
I want to give you a chance to address the main criticism that's coming from the Obama camp. Here's David Axelrod on one of the Sunday shows yesterday criticizing the selection of Ryan and the pick because of the budget. Roll the Axelrod cut there, if you would, John.
I think the appointment, as John has said, has thrilled the base of the Republican Party, the Tea Party Republicans, the social conservatives, because Congressman Ryan is a certifiable right-wing ideologue, and so that's excited them. But I saw that kind of excitement 4 years ago, Anthony, when John McCain appointed Sarah Palin as well. There were huge crowds, much of the same kind of reaction, and I don't think it worked out very well. I think when the reality catches up with the moment, it's not going to be a plus for Governor Romney.
Well, as a senior campaign advisor, what concerns you the most about Mr. Ryan? What do you see as his strengths?
Well, I'm more concerned about him as an American, and by the way, he's a very genial guy. I know him. I like him. I just don't like his views. I think they're very dangerous views. I don't like the fact that he was a rubber stamp for all the Bush economic policies in the last decade. I don't like the fact that he wants to double down on them in this decade. It was kind of laughable.
All right, let's leave it there. They're big on this, taking us to the policies of the past. Wasn't there 52 months of uninterrupted job growth during the Bush years?
I was going to say, when you get right down to it, they meaning Axelrod and his crew supporting Obama have done a fairly effective job at making a charge that we haven't adequately responded to, which is that those are the policies that got us into the trouble in the first place. No, they're not. When the 2001 and 2003 changes in the tax code went into effect, revenues to the Treasury increased. The economy did very, very well. We created millions of new jobs, and we did very, very well.
Bottom line is we ought to welcome this debate, right? We ought to welcome
the debate, yeah.
We expect all the same stuff from these guys. Jon Kyl, Senator from Arizona, great to catch up with you. Thanks for your insight and analysis.
Thanks,
talk to you again soon. Robert Costa of National Review when we come back. Don't go away.